And welcome back to DMV Rivals Summer 2024 edition. We are coming at you with the third round of day 2. It's going to be a matchup between Habibi's Kittens and Crowdfund Control. Two teams who are close to the top of the bracket, going head to head, hunting for that coveted first seed going in to the bracket stage. Should be a pretty exciting matchup here today. How are you doing, Shiv?
I'm doing very well. It'd be interesting to see how these teams fare in their second matchup against each other. The first time yesterday, Crowdfund Control did take the win in a very hectic game. So we'll see if the side of Habibi's Kittens can strike back.
Yeah, and a really, really close Group B happening here between the top 4 teams. It's Crowdfund Control currently sitting at 5-1. Meanwhile, Meow 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 at 6-2. And I think it's PDF are going to be at 4-3. And Crowdfund Control, we said 5-1. Oh, and Habibi's Kittens also at 6-2. So a really close bracket here between some of these teams. A victory here could be exactly what is needed to bring yourself into the upper echelon of the group. As I think draft is just about ready to get underway. It might already be happening. Let's see if we can get this loaded in here. Yes, we can. So Habibi's Kittens opting to ban that Akali, the Ashe, which we've seen so much this tournament, and the Aatrox. Meanwhile, Crowdfund Control taking away the Skarner, the Jinx, and the Bard. Habibi's Kittens picking up that first pick, Tristana, and it's responded with Jhin and Rek'Sai. We saw how good Zero Domain was on the Tristana yesterday. We'll see if he's able to have a similar performance today.
Yeah, absolutely. Tristana pick that we haven't seen too much of, but she does fit quite nicely in the mid lane with all the AP junglers that are currently running about.
Yeah, and we're going to see an oldie but a goodie here in this Kalista, a champion that's been picked since before the ADC item reworks. Still pretty strong. We'll see Kalista Nautilus, a pretty deadly combo in the early game. If Nautilus is able to land one of those hooks, they can very quickly take down an immobile champion like this Jhin. And with Tristana able to jump in as well, I'm really, really liking this Talia pick, actually, in response. All 3 champions can be shut down on the side of Habibi's Kittens by this one pick.
Yeah, provides them a lot of power up front in that role. We'll see exactly how this goes right now. Stuff is panning out a bit differently. I'm curious to see with Habibi's Kittens how they delegate the jungle top roles between Rough Puff and Flat Shark.
Absolutely, we'll see. Obviously, we did see them opt for that Karthus yesterday, able to carry a game with that high damage profile. We'll see if Flat Shark might opt to go for something like that again, as it looks like they are going to ban out the Jarvan. And I believe Rough Tough Afropuff has been mostly a Jarvan player in the jungle, so this might be the signal that they need to send him to the top lane on a champion like the Ornn, especially... Oh, actually, it looks like they're leaving up the Jarvan, but especially when you have an ADC like Jhin, getting someone tanky like the Ornn in the top lane can be exactly the answer you need.
Yeah, I will say that in the first game between these two teams, it was Sam Manuske just absolutely taking over on his Aatrox. So I'm not sure if you really want to put Rough Puff up there regardless. We'll see how it's going to pan out. Flat Shark a bit more experienced in the role. Didn't fare well against Sam last time, but I feel like it would get only a bit worse.
Yeah, it is just going to be the Ornn Karthus that we alluded to, though. Bringing it out again. Flat Shark not wanting to go for this Battle of the Titans in the top lane against Sam Manuske, instead choosing to try his luck in the jungle, see if he can scale and carry on this Karthus, but it will be the counter pick now available for Samanusuke, and it looks like he's going to head towards that Fiora, and I mean, we all know how strong this champion is, especially against tanks like the Ornn, also able to deny some of the CC from champions like the Nautilus, from like the Kalista, and or I guess the Kalista ult maybe, but yeah, I mean a pretty good pick here for Samanusuke, who's proven that he is one of the best top laners in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Fiora definitely gives him that capability to take over the game, similar to how he's been doing throughout this tournament. The first time these teams played, it was pretty much a slaughter, all things considered. It was 24-6 in the kill score department. A lot of perfect KDAs on the side of Crowdfund Control. It'll be a bit of a different look for the side of Habibi's Kittens playing with the Ornn in the top lane. But overall, I do think Crowdfund Control have the advantage here.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling pretty good about this comp if I am Crowdfund Control. I will say, though, if the Fiora is not able to find a lead against the Ornn, if he's able to farm up Rough Stuff Afro Puff, then all of a sudden he's a very, very hard champion for the rest of Crowdfund Control to kill. I mean, Taliyah, not exactly built for melting tanks, and Jhin definitely someone who'd prefer to be damaging some of the squishier members of Habibi's Kittens. So I will be looking to Rough Tough Afro Puff to see if he can upset one of the best top laners in the tournament and show how good he can be on this Ornn. We saw the strength of his engages against Lyrax on the Jhin yesterday, and if Habibi's Kittens are able to find similar engages onto the Jhin of, I believe it's Drag of One who's playing Jhin, that could be very, very good for them, because definitely an immobile backline for Crowdfund Control.
Yeah, could certainly end up just being a field day there. We do have at least another card this game for Flat Shark. This champion has been super strong throughout the tournament, and he's against a jungler that will not really match him in clear speed. We've seen people play Taliyah into Karthus, we've seen Hecarim into Karthus, champs that can at least keep up with him in the pure clearing department. Rek'Sai definitely going to want to cause some havoc early on, because she cannot just go camp for camp with a champ like Karthus.
Yeah, and maybe some harder lanes to gank here. The Tristana kind of having the safety to jump out. The Kalista Nautilus so strong in the early game, might even be able to find a turn if Rek'Sai does come down to gank. And Ornn obviously just going to kind of be playing safe, farming up. So if this Rek'Sai is not able to find anything for Crowdfund Control, it absolutely could just be Flat Shark getting so strong on this Karthus that there's nothing they can really do.
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting to see. I feel like top lane, one of those roles where when there is such a big disparity between the two players, it's the most isolated role where your sort of 1v1 prowess comes up to the forefront. Definitely why Crowdfund Control was confident in just slamming the Fiora down, really wanting to abuse the Ornn matchup. Even if it doesn't happen early, it can definitely happen past those 2-item stages when Ornn starts to just not really do a lot in the side lanes, and he'll be in a rough spot whether he's able to even join up with the 5v5s or if that's going to let Fiora wreck down a lot of structures.
Yeah, and as I kind of talked about earlier in the draft, there is this Taliyah pick, which is pretty good into a lot of the members of Habibi Kittens. Obviously, kind of a nice matchup into the Tristana, being able to drop down the stones if Tristana tries to jump in onto Taliyah, but also being able to deny things like the dash from the Nautilus hook, like the Kalista trying to dash around. And if that comes to
be a rough time for Habibi.
Yeah, I think Habibi's really going to have to be careful in this game, especially with things like the Alistar engage, like the Rek'Sai. It's really going to have to keep our eyes on Habibi and see how well he can do against some of these champions that can just jump on him so easily, despite playing a mobile champion like the Kalista.
Yeah. It does feel like the early game is going to tell a lot of us for this game. So if you're these two junglers, what do you think your goals are going into like the first 14 minutes of this.
I mean, I think we all know what Karthus' goals are. He wants to farm up. He wants to get that gold. He wants to use his ults if his teammates are winning trades. He wants to get as much as he can for himself so he can get to those 2 items, to those 3 items as fast as possible and start having a huge impact in these fights. Meanwhile, if you are crowdfund control, you're going to want to see this Rek'Sai making tons of plays early on. You're going to want to see him diving onto Habibi Poppy. You're going to want to see him diving onto Zero Domain. You're going to want to see him maybe looking for a dive onto Rough Tough Afro Puff and maybe set up himself or his team laners to get strong and be able to punish the team of Habibi's Kittens before this Karthus gets online.
Yeah, because I think if we do get to those like 5v5 stages, you have a Tristana and a Kalista that can do fairly well in those later stages. You have orange items coming through, you have Karthus damage being absurd. So in the late game, it does feel like just straight champion-wise that Habibi's Kittens will find advantages.
I do want to point out...
Last time they played against Crowdfund Control, they also went, though, for a bit more scaling. They played a Kassadin mid with Zero Domain, and it, again, did not go well for them. So they're trying to maybe buff up that early game a tad with the Kalista picks, trying to give some point of pressure.
I mean, on the other side, though,
able to make
looking, we do like to say that this Karthus has the scaling. Habibi's Kittens does have the scaling with the Tristana, with the Karthus, but I don't know who's going to answer this Fiora in the side lanes later on into the game. Once she's able to build up some items, she's going to take down those turrets so quickly, and I don't know if you want to have an Orin just kind of sitting under the turret, not helping his team. So someone's going to have to figure out something for this Fiora if they want to rely on that scaling and find items on the Karthus and try to win that way. So we are loading into the game now.
Yep, we are on to the Rift for our third game of the day. Crowdfund Control versus Habibi Kittens. Habibi Kittens hoping to get some revenge after the absolute beatdown that these guys laid on them in the first round robin.
Yeah, it looks like they are going for a bot side stack. All 5 members going through this bot lane. We'll see if they're able to find anything. We'll see if they're able to pick anyone off. Meanwhile, it's a pretty stock standard 5-point. Will Prone see them before it's too late? They're hugging the wall. Prone, will he be able to get out? Wow. Flashes, but the hook still lands. No. And that'll be first blood going over to Habibi on the Kalista.
Yeah, an absolute disaster with the straight line flash. Good job hugging the wall, making sure you come out of fog. And normally we see the Nautilus stacks just straight running it through the mid lane, but this time taking a different approach, getting the kill onto Prone.
And not a good start. We talked about how the side of Crowdfund Control is going to want to be winning out in this early stage of the game, but if they're starting with a kill on this Kalista, it's going to be quite tough. It looks like...
Yeah, Alistar already a pretty weak level 1 alongside the Jhin. Now without his flash, that Kalista Nautilus should be able to take very solid early control of the lane.
Yeah, and we do see both junglers starting topside here. Dota 2 is better, opting to start on the Raptors. Meanwhile, going for the optimal clear speed is Flat Shark. Going to take the blue buff, going to get that mana regen, and just trying to get all those camps done as quickly as he can. Samanusuke? Oh, but Genesis finds the hook.
Yeah, it's going to mean a bit of damage onto Alistar. I'm curious to see, since they know Karthus started top, if Dota 2 is better, is going to try any 3 camp into topside play. A lot of Rek'Sai players like going behind that wall on that side of the map as knock up into the Deadly Flourish. And actually, it's the Alistar Jhin hitting level 2 first. A fort shot putting Genesis down pretty low. Level 2 comes in and Ignite is burned.
Yeah, pretty good start for Drag of 1 on this Jhin. Habibi getting forced back despite getting that level 1 kill. Genesis did find a hook in the lane but wasn't able to win out on that trade. And now with both junglers heading towards the bot side of the map, we definitely could see some kind of skirmish happening down here.
Yeah, we will see Rek'Sai also just path into bot side, not willing to lose these camps. So she is going to finish up, I mean, much slower compared to the Karthus, but she should be able to get all of them.
And Samanusuke did manage to pressure Rough Tough into the turret, but still Rough Tough actually with the farm lead, so he's got to be feeling pretty good, just kind of setting up, getting farm on this Ornn. He does have the HP lead as well, and Samanusuke obviously not going to be too strong until he gets some of those items online, but Rough Tough Afropuff definitely the lane probably going a little better than he might have been expecting.
Yeah, we'll see how that pans out later on as a jump in from Zero Domain. The Unraveled Earth goes down. Blue Killer is still taking the worst side of the trade. There's a bit of scrapping in top side. Deadly Flourish not going to find its market to BB, but here comes the jungler. As Dota 2 is better, making his way down. Flash, unburrow onto 2. Habibi is able to flash out for now. The root's there with the drag of 1. But is Genesis going to be able to survive? The Void Seeker doesn't find it. Fourth shot isn't going to be the damage. He's trying to flash out. He'll get the kill, but Flat Shark arrives on the scene and is able to trade it back.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it will just be a 1-for-1, and Habibi and Flatshark will be able to push out the wave, so gotta be feeling quite good if you are Habibi's Kittens on this one. Flatshark getting that early kill for himself on this Karthus, already 29 farm, and getting quite far ahead of this Rek'Sai. We're going to need to see something better in the future from Dota 2 if he wants to start bringing an advantage for his team. Almost a 1k gold lead even already for the Habibi's Kittens, but Zero Domain going to jump in through the rocks. Oh, actually, Genesis is able to find the hook under the turret, forcing out the flash from Blue Killers.
Yeah, so Luke Killer is going to be down quite a bit of pressure in this lane now.
Samanusuke starting to show some signs of why he's the better top laner on this Fiora, forcing Rough Tough back, getting kind of free reign over the lane, but still gotta be feeling pretty good if you're Rough Tough, and you see, despite the fact that the trades might not be going so well for you, a nice delay on the auto attack there to not proc Fiora's riposte, but yeah, gotta be feeling pretty alright if you're Rough Tough and you see how far your team is getting ahead on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, if we could just switch the Ornn Karthus portraits, make it a bit clearer where the CF's leads lie. It is going to be Fiora pushing in this lane, Karthus on bot side. I don't think Rick's or Dota 2 is better. Is going to try any sort of dive, even with Samanusuke hitting level 6, stacking up this wave.
Yeah, I mean, Dota 2 is kind of near this top side, and with if they do see Flatshark on the other side of the map, which they probably will, Dragon for 1 just getting jumped on, he should be okay, but Prone may not be.
Yeah, he's trying to run out, has the E, as the lay waits, Qs aren't quite going to hit. Flash out from the cow, as back in the mid lane, it's Zero Domain getting a lot of damage on, now jumping in with the ult, gets the solo kill, and we'll just hop over. Dota 2 is better. And nicely played there by Zero Domain.
Yeah, huge outplay, able to get the reset from the kill onto Blue Killers. Did flash past the initial attempt from Dota 2 is better, and it feels like Flatshark and the rest of Habibi's Kittens are just kind of winning all over the map wherever they go, able to pick up that first dragon, and Dota 2 is better actually. Might be losing.
He wants to make it a fight. He is down so low, though. He's going to fall to BB. 3-man knockup is there from the Alistair. They take out the Karthus, but Requiem is still going to come down, and so will Tristana. That's going to be a kill back to B. Poppy's trying to just focus down the Dragon, as Dragon 1 can't really hang in there with the Tristana. That's going to be another one for the Bandle Gunner, as now Talia trying to scrap it out, finds the shove. Does she have the damage here with another threaded volley? Bone Plating comes up, and it's not enough, though. A massive fight in bot lane. Going either which way.
Yeah, but I mean, Habibi now up to 3 kills, was able to pick up the dragon for his team as well. Oh, looks like we'll get stunned up. Rough Tough Afropuff, but he'll be all right. But yeah, I mean, still the Habibi Kittens seem to be kind of slowly taking the advantages on each of these plays and bringing themselves into a pretty sizable lead. Luckily for Luke Killers, was able to get that kill onto Zero Domain, which kind of evens up this matchup in the mid lane that was looking pretty bad for Luke Killers. So maybe feeling a little bit better is this Tristan, or is this Talia.
Yeah, should certainly feel good there as Samanusuke now getting a bit feisty in the top lane, gonna lay down the grand challenge. Rough Puff gonna flash back, riposte for a bit of slow, and that'll be a summoner burned off the Ornn.
Yeah, definitely happy about that one as Samanusuke, especially now that Ornn has no flash, is under the turret. It seems like Dota 2 is better. Might actually look for Zero Domain. Zero Domain.
He is going to see him with the Tremor Sense. Now going to tunnel forward. Can't cancel the rocket jump, so Zero Domain is A-okay.
Yeah, and this bot side is just getting further and further ahead for Habibi's Kittens. Habibi now with a quite sizable farm lead has got to be feeling very, very good. Lou Killers holding his own at least in the mid lane, but Flatshark continuing to pressure this bot side.
Yeah, we will see the Grub started up on top side, so Drag of 1 and Pro know they're not getting any help around this tower, and Habibi will just keep collecting some plates. Luke Killers is making his way down here, but he gets jumped on. Now depth charge in the bottom lane. Drag of 1 is just going to get caught. He's just going to get killed. Meanwhile, in top side, Ornn gets a knockup. Is he going to get a kill with the tower heating up? No, he will not. Zero Domain, I mean, that's a lot of tower shots, but it's not going to do anything much.
Yeah, and the map is clearly just being split here by these two teams, really putting their eggs into the Habibi Poppy basket are Habibi's Kittens, but meanwhile, Samanusuke continuing to build a lead in the top lane, was able to get two members to come assist him, pick up that kill, and he'll definitely be feeling pretty good for himself. But I don't know if it'll be enough, as Genesis looking once again onto Drag of 1 here.
Yeah, Requiem's going to come down as well. He's trying to flash, but he is dead all the same. A fourth death for the Jhin. But now Zero Domain caught out in mid. Samanusuke trying to turn the bot play around, but the Callista is just hopping around him, stacking up these spears, flashing. He's able to find the shutdown with the grand challenge. And now Prone is trying to chase this one in. Finds a knockup, finds a stun. And Samanusuke, we talked about him in the 1v1, but he is ready to spread his influence to the bottom lane as well. Genesis gonna fly towards Drag of 1 and give over another kill.
And just when things were starting to look really bad for Crowdfund Control, it's Samanusuke TPing to the bot side of the map, able to find that kill. Zero Domain getting a little bit greedy, was finished off by Dota 2 is better in the 1v1, and despite Flatshark being able to rotate up, pick up a couple of Void Grubs for himself, it's the Crowdfund Control that wins out on that play.
Yeah, very good stuff to see. Samanusuke does lose a bit of farm in topside for that TP down, but still holding a very solid CS lead for himself. Ornn now going to have to go up against a fully completed Ravenous Hydra up here.
Yeah, Rough Tough Afropuff did opt to go for that Bramble Vest first, so we'll at least be able to cut some of the healing down, but if Fiora is given time to hit this Ornn, she will surely just die. Zero Domain.
Flying in. Oh, no, Nautilus hook this time. As Ornn just trying to hold this wave, eating back the tower. There is no threat of a dive. Sam just going to fall back, clear out the vision. We do have Dragon coming up in 40 seconds. Which of these teams are you looking at to really take this fight?
I mean, I think it's going to be still hard for Crowdfund Control to contest. I mean, their Fiora's on the top side, and that's where most of their strength is. It looks like they want to fight anyway, but it might just be Prone being caught out early here.
Prone trying to go in, lands the Pulverized. Genesis now going to get tagged by that curtain call, but the Outstar's down solo. Zero Domain trying to hop in, but he hops on the rocks. He's punted backwards, but he's able to make it out alive. Now Dota 2 is better. Try to Umburrow, find a kill with the Void Rush, and he will get it, but he gives up his life for it. I cannot believe Zero Domain slicked out that one, and now the Requiem is going to find another one onto Lou Killers.
Yeah, I don't know about that contest there. I think that with your topside building an advantage in Samanusuke, the last thing you want to do is take a fight when Habibi is this far ahead of Drag of 1, who has not even yet can finish his item. Also, Lou Killers still hadn't finished an item at that point, and I think you want to kind of split the map, continue to split the map, and not try to make plays where you have the losing side. Samanusuke taking advantage of that pillar spawn to stun up Rough Tough Afropuff, but I mean, Rough Tough Afropuff having the worst end of these topside exchanges, but nowhere near as bad as what's going on for the bot side of Crowdfund Control.
Yeah, and if there's any champ you're perfectly fine just taking losses in lane, it is going to be the big ram in Ornn. He'll just be able to scale up, buy up that armor. Nice look out from Simonusuke there. But yeah, the Ornn's he's losing plates, he's losing CS. But at the end of the day, he is still going to provide a lot of utility in these fights. He's going to provide the Ornn items. And overall, I would say Baby Kitten's in a very solid spot.
Yeah, and we're talking about how this would be a hard game to play for the Kalista with all of these engaged opportunities, but Habibi's doing an excellent job to just win out on all these fights, playing very aggressively, able to consistently find these kills on the important members of Crowdfund Control. And when you have this many kills on Kalista, you're feeling pretty good heading into this mid game.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to start to see those first item completions come in. Kalista remains pretty strong with those, as Riposte is going to come out from Simonusuke. Rough Puff doesn't have a searing charge to really fight back. And yeah, we haven't really seen Dota 2 as better. Or no, we did see a dive early on when they were splitting the map. We'll see how many more plates Simonusuke can possibly get. With only 10 seconds left, though, it is Habibi Kitten setting up around this bot side, just taking all that they can.
Yeah, and it's hard to imagine that Drag of 1 is ever really going to be that useful in this game. Oh, Zero Domain, though.
Oh, what the? Hop in from Zero Domain. He does Buster Shot the Rek'Sai away, but Dota 2 is still going to hunt him down. Double knock from the Alistar, and Luke Killers finds his kill. Now with the Unbreakable Will, Prone's trying to walk it out, but Habibi's Ren takes him down. The final ticks of Ignite do find a second kill, though, so it is going to be Crowdfund Control punching up.
Zero Domain thinking he had the backup there, needed to jump in, but there were more members around for Crowdfund Control. They were able to find the follow-up, find the 2-for-1, and while they're still behind in this game, those are the type of plays you want to look for if you are Crowdfund Control. But still, it's just so tough for Drag of 1 in this bot side of the map. Down 60 farm, going to be down 2 items here soon. And he needs to either find some crazy shutdown on Habibi or somehow continue to farm up and maybe find some use in some of these team fights. But the damage he's putting out is just nothing in comparison to the damage of this Kalista right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see Herald started up here on the map. Karthus will make quick work of that. Another objective falling the way of Habibi's Kittens. Didn't even really see any sort of grub taking by Crowdfund Control. So yeah, everything on the map, every major objective has really gone the way of Habibi's Kittens. This Karthus cranking through the jungle now that he's got the Blackfire Torch, working up towards that second burn item in the Leandries. It's going to get pretty scary later on once all these champions get up and running.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Simonusuke at this point to try and find a more significant advantage in this top side. Yes, he is beating out the Ornn, but this is not what you want from your top player against Rough Tough Afropuff. Rough Tough Afropuff doing a great job of holding his own, only down 30 farm, hasn't even yet dropped a turret. Got to be feeling really, really good. So he's actually kind of winning out on some of these trades. Prone, though.
Oh, Prone trying to find an angle onto Flat Shark. They have Weaver as well. Zero Domain still shows up. Karthus will finally die. Zonya's there for Luke Killers, but Requiem is going to come down all the same. Now Grand Challenge on the top side. Rough Tough cannot deal with him in the 1v1 as Void Rush back in. Dota 2 able to get out alive. Now goes underneath for some HP. Here comes Habibi, though. The menace on the Kalista, trying to get some vengeance, but the punt away from Prone means that he should be the only one to fall.
Yeah, nicely played by the bot side of Crowdfund Control to kind of juggle the aggro there, limp away with their low HP members, even through the Requiem coming out from Flat Shark. And, I mean, ultimately it was just a 1-for-1 on the bot side of the map. Meanwhile, the top side is completely broken open. Simonusuke able to find that kill onto Rough Tough Afropuff, able to find the turret and the turret bounty, and that will bring them way back into this game.
Yeah, we'll start to see how this viewer is going to play out in the later stages, because we're at a point where she's going to have to join up for these dragon fights. Dragon right now on the rift. Simonusuke is in the area. That fling is not timed well. Prone messes up a bit of the engage. Now Ornhorn going to sound out for the re-engage. Dota 2 trying to go on in, but he's left in a 1v5. His team's not in position, and he just gives up the smite for nothing.
Yeah, that was a very strange play. I mean, I don't know what Prone was looking for there. Ended up not being able to land the knock-up. It looked like Luke Killers was going to set up a big kill there, but ultimately it was Dota 2 is better, sacrificing his life for the rest of his team. It looks like Simonusuke, does have the ward, so not gonna go down or anything, but yeah, not what you want to see if you are crowdfund control at this point of the game.
Yeah, now with 3 dragons, that Fiora can't just stay in the sideline forever. She's gonna have to come out in 5 minutes for that Cloud Soul fight. She can't just keep bullying the Ornn and drawing attention, because the 5v5 is gonna happen, and those 5v5s are definitely getting tilted in favor of Habibi's kittens.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to just not be able to find a way onto Habibi on this Kalista. He's just tearing through the crowdfund control without having to worry about anything on himself. And if they aren't able to find their way onto Habibi, he's just going to take over the game.
Absolutely. We do now see 2 items available on the Kalista. Samanusuke, I mean, up against a Tristana. Tristana, definitely nothing to scoff at, is prone, finding an angle. But that Ornn is very, very tanky. Is mostly armor, good Bellows Breath. As here comes Genesis to try to make sure his Ornn is A-okay.
Yeah, it just feels like outside of Samanusuke, there's just no damage on crowdfund control. This Talia, with only a couple of defensive items to her name.
Oh, they're looking for a play with a Deadly Flourish and Weaver's Wall. They're piling in for Habibi. They're trying to get the President, and they'll get him, but the shutdown goes to the Alistar. Now he's in a rough spot as the Ornn Horn sounds through. Samanusuke joining up for the play as well. Can they get everyone out? No, they can't, as the Dredge line brings back Drago 1, but he's not going to die. Samanusuke finds the kill. He finds the heals. Now Curtain Call trying to wrangle up some more kills. Flat Shark on the scene, going to soak up some bullets. They really don't do a lot, do they? But it is still a solid play from Crowdfund.
Flat Shark late to that fight caused it to be more of a 4v5 for most of the time. And that gave them an opportunity to counter some of this engage. They found the initial kill onto Habibi. Like we were talking about, you need to be able to kill that Kalista if you want to win these fights. They were able to. They were able to limp away with their lives. And crowdfund control, finding avenues to fight, finding wins, despite being quite far behind in this game.
Yeah, it's good to see them still have that willingness to go for plays, to use the Weaver's Wall aggressively, to have angles there to try to just pick off a BB whenever they can. We'll see how much that matters as we get to next objective fight. We'll see if we can get a second item on Drag of 1 so we can try to keep up in the tango of these fights. Now Prone just getting chased out by the Karthus. And yep, now Flat Shark just going to take away whatever camps he can. He has built himself a nice camp lead as well. He's only a half item ahead right now, but he is definitely feeling much better than the Rek'Sai at this point in the game.
Yeah, and with only 2 minutes to this dragon, we're definitely going to have to look to crowdfund control to try and make something happen. They need to win this fight. Cloud Soul is a very, very strong buff to have for your team, and they do not want to see that go away so early. And Fiora, actually a bit far forward here.
She is going to be fine. I am interested to see if perhaps... Oh no, Rough Puff going to get tagged by the Seismic Shove. Good Bella's Breath once again, though. Means that he's just losing a bit, but he'll be A-okay.
Yeah, but Samsonuke is starting to build up quite the lead for himself. 3 kills, a couple of items on this Fiora. We'll look for Zero Domain. I don't think there's really any kill pressure there. Zero Domain having that bone plane. Prone looking for something on the side here, but he's alone. Will they be able to follow up?
Find the pull as Jin's trying to contribute from long ways away. Ornhorn is there. Rough Puff has the peel, and I don't think they are getting anything done on Habibi. Teleported from Samanusuke. Lockett just barely keeping the Alistar alive, but Karthus is going to flash after him. It doesn't look like he's been able to get the kill. And now Curtain Call is going to be used, but that's a weird spot to put it. Now Shove hits onto B, but he's got the cleanse. They throw in Genesis. No one's dying throughout all of this. All the summoners, all the ultimates. Everyone's alive.
Lou Killers, though.
Now, Lou Killers not going to find the flick. So we do have no Unbreakable Will, no Requiem for this upcoming fight. A lot of other ults as well, but those are 2 I got my eye on. Luke Killer's taking a good bit of damage. Can't find the damage. Back onto Flat Shark. Samanusuke trying to lie in wait. It is going to be crowdfund control with control of the dragon, but I don't think Habibi Kittens particularly care.
Yeah, looks like they might end up just trading the Dragon for the Baron. Actually, the TP going to come out from Loot Killers. Oh, well, this is really good for Crowdfund Controllers. They're just going to get the Dragon for free. They at least got the TP from Loot Killers, but Dragon goes over to Dota 2 is better. And they're going to get the mid turret, so a pretty terrible rotation from Habibi's Kittens there. Loses them 2 objectives for basically nothing.
Yeah, without a lot of vision in that bot side of where the Dragon is, Habibi's Kittens couldn't be certain how many members were coming up, how many were... They didn't know that Dota 2 was staying to just solo down the Dragon on the other side, so they play it safe. They weren't willing to fully commit to what could have possibly been a flip.
Yeah, and after all of these objectives are gone, now all of a sudden the gold is looking much closer. Only a 500 gold lead for Habibi's Kittens, and Samanusuke starting to get incredibly strong on this Fiora. They're going to have to figure out an answer for him on the side lane.
Yeah, thus far they have been just matching that Tristana with him. Tristana able to just jump away, disengage if Fiora tries anything, able to wave clear solidly well, thanks to the explosiveness of her autos. So that seems to be the plan thus far. We'll see if there are any other maneuvers that Crowdfund Control are willing to throw at them. But for now, it's Baron startup for Habibi's.
Yeah, I'm not sure they know about this yet.
Samanusuke does not have teleport, so he is a long ways away from contributing here. Zero Domain has his if he ever needs it, and it looks like this should just be secured. Prone is recalling, and despite there being 5 members of Crowdfund Control on the map, they are not really walking forward for this one. A nice Baron play, just Flat Shark and Rough Puff is enough to take it down.
Yeah, really smart Baron angle there, not having any vision on the objective. Did Crowdfund Control, and all of a sudden, when you thought that Crowdfund Control might be coming back into the game, a beautiful Baron sneak gives them quite a solid lead again.
Yeah, and I'm sure Crowdfund Control were just confused, right? Because they know Zero Domain's not there. They see a BB in mid. Like, okay, we're just chilling. But Karthus and Ornn by themselves just able to take down the Worm. Samanusuke trying to lay in wait, see if he gets anyone in fog here. Flat Shark with that sweeper. He's moving up with Rough Puff. See if they try to make a play. Weaver's welcome to come on down. Flat Shark is pinned. He's got no flash. Grand Challenge issued. Massive seismic shove. And the earth crumbles beneath the Habibi Kittens. They do have Requiem. They have Samanusuke pretty low, but he's healing with that Ravenous Hydra. He's going to survive. It's 1-0.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately only 1 kill for Crowdfund Control. It was a really nice engage by Loot Killers, able to set up for his team, able to find the shove onto 2, but with only finishing off Flat Shark there, it's not too much, and it looks like Dragon 1 might just go down on the backside.
Good play from Zero Domain. We'll see if they can use it to break open this mid. They've got Baron, they've got 4 guys. Don't think this tower's standing for much longer. Horn sounding as well. Loot Killers has flash, but he goes right into the ram. He has to go golden. Zero Domain punching into tower. He's got to go out himself, but he'll stay alive. He'll keep cranking out the damage. Dota to his bear strain on the back line. These double marksmen are going to work, and they'll do the same to the towers.
Yeah, Habibi and Zero Domain just given lots of opportunity to hit with Genesis and Rough Tough Afropuff sending through the engage, even without Flat Shark, who you would think would be the one doing a lot of the damage at this point of the game. They're still able to find the win in the 4v5 off of the initial pick onto Drag of 1 from Zero Domain.
Yeah, and now things definitely starting to get dire for the side of Crowdfund Control. They find themselves down about 6k gold. There's a Cloud Soul coming up in a minute that they got to get themselves down to fight for. There's Ord items making the gold situation a lot worse. Gonna need a few minor miracles for them to have a chance in this next fight.
Yeah, and we've been talking about Samanusuke and how he's the potential side lane threat, but he just has not really been able to find that much. Hasn't even managed to break down a tier 2 at this point. He's being pulled all over the map as his team is continuing to try and look for these 5v5s, falling further and further behind. And Samanusuke is going to need to make something magical happen if they're going to find their way into the game, but it's Zero Domain and Flat Shark might be looking...
Oh, a lot of damage from Zero Domain. He's going to hop in. He's going to keep up the pressure with that long-range cannon. And forcing a flash from Samanusuke. He even had an elixir of iron for that. as Rough Buff just gonna put some damage down. Deadly Flourish not finding its mark. Rough Buff knows he's just got to get away. His Karthus, Tristana are on the top side still.
Yeah, and
So now that we're getting everyone set up around this dragon, how do you think Crowd for Control need to fight
well,
first?
actually, looks like a
Or
fight.
we're just gonna have an Ornhorn to start the fight off. Blue Killers with no flash. He is probably just gonna drop. He has Seraphs to buy some time. Deadly Flourish gonna do something, but it's Habibi popping on a killing spree, and now Tristana's arriving onto the scene of go in of the Fates call. Safety trying to dash away, but his friend of Dragon 1 is not going to be too lucky. Dota 2 able to tunnel out to safety, and Samanusuke now is going to find himself in a 1v5, and that is not something Duelist can handle. The towers now going to fall like paper, and it is going to be Habibi Kittens taking themselves up in this group. Zero Domain on a rampage on the Tristana, and that will be all she wrote. Prone padding the CC scores, but Habibi Poppy will pad his DPM. 3 for Tristana at the end, as Habibi Kittens move on with the win.
Excellent game from start to finish from Habibi's Kittens, but it really was the Baron call from Flat Shark and Rough Tough Afropuff that blew open the game, that set them up into the later stages and got them towards that win. So it was ultimately the Baron call that made the difference, and Crowdfund Control, despite putting up a fight early on, could not really find anything, and Habibi's Kittens will easily take the win in this one, bringing them into first place in their group and potentially the tournament favorites heading into the bracket stage.
Yeah, well, it's certainly great to see how they continue to progress. They seem to have found themselves a bit of a play style with how to go about these games. They've been dropping a lot of Karthus Orns, just letting Rough Puff be weak side, play around Habibi, play around a carry jungler. That seems to definitely be their identity thus far.
Absolutely. And we'll see if we can get ourselves an interview here. I'd love to talk to, I believe this will be our first time talking to one of the members of Habibi's Kittens. So maybe get an opportunity. I guess we did hear from Rough Tough Afro Puff, the victorious top laner, on the cast earlier, but I'd love to hear from one of them if we can. All right, looks like we are going to get the man the team is named after, Habibi himself. Hello, Habibi. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing great. After that win, I'm doing great.
So first things first, how broken is bottom lane? I mean, your top lane, I think the rank differential up there was maybe like 5 tiers, and yet it just didn't matter. How broken is Callista and just getting those bot lane advantages?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I gotta give a big shout out to Michael. Like, he just came in, going from jungle to top, from support to jungle to top, and then like he's laning against legit a challenger player top lane, and he's going even, or if not, like I don't know, like it's just crazy. I don't think there's any gap, to be honest. I think like Michael's hands are just too good. And but bot lane, in terms of bot lane, I think Callista, the match was great. That's it. I mean, we just played the match really well.
So yesterday
And then
you
we just
yesterday you did go down to this team. How did you change up your plan? How did you change up your draft? How did you change up your gameplay to look for a win today?
we just realized that like their bot lane is so weak and their champion pools are abusable, and that we can play aggressive with any sort of jungle pressure. And like we can just like tilt the map towards our favor. We know that they're probably gonna get leads topside, but it doesn't matter when we have 4 people strong bot side or bot side of the map, right? So one Fiora being like 7-0 doesn't fucking matter, or whatever top lane is
Absolutely.
playing. So yeah, that's our logic.
Absolutely. I do want to know what the comms were like for that initial Baron take, where Karthus and Ornn just the only ones on it and able
Uh,
to take it down.
yeah, that was purely on Jonah. Like Jonah called that. He was like, "We can do this." I was really like, "Hey, I can come if you guys really need to." And they're like, "No, stay mid, and you're fine. We can literally take this." I'm like honestly happy that they know that their damage on Baron. Like if he doesn't have that knowledge to do that, then we probably don't take it there. But yeah, I mean it's just on Jonah and Michael.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, Habibi. Thanks for it's always great to hear from you. Some very insightful responses, and we wish you luck heading into the rest of the tournament.
Thank you so much. Great cast, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, well, that will close out the third round of play. We will be back shortly with round 4. There might be a bit of a change up in the casting desk, but we're looking forward to seeing you again soon. And don't go anywhere.